Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamerspro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. So as you guys know, a lot of people have been kind of coming at LeBron James after the firing of Lakers head coach Darvin Ham, right? A lot of people are upset with that decision. Voices like Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, Michael Wilbon, a lot of people, right? Like Kendrick Perkins and so many others. And one of those people seems to be former Laker great and former Laker head coach and Byron Scott. So yesterday I tuned into Undisputed, and to my surprise, who did I see sitting on the panel? Byron Scott. And I'm like, what's going on here? Well, apparently they invited him on the show for the day, and they were discussing the state of affairs with the Lakers, specifically as it pertains to their head coaching vacancy. So when it came time for Byron Scott to speak, I thought he was going to take a PC position, a politically correct position. But to the surprise of me, and to the surprise of many of the viewers, I even remember reading some of the comments like, damn, somebody said Byron Scott woke up this morning and decided to choose violence. He started going off on the Lakers as an organization. Then he started essentially saying that, listen, look, LeBron is the one actually pulling all the strings. And he's saying that, listen, since LeBron believes that he's a know-it-all, essentially, he's like, then why doesn't he coach the team? Since he pretty much seems to know everything. And I was like, whoa, what is going on here? So what we want to do is right now, we actually want to play the audio of Byron Scott actually saying this, and then want to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to what he had to say here.
My recommendation, the next Laker coach, and out of the 8 or 9 names that I've heard, his name wasn't on there, is make LeBron the coach.
Ooh. Make LeBron the coach. I have half-kiddingly suggested, let him be the player coach.
Make him the coach.
Then why you say that, B?
Listen, I got nothing but love and respect for LeBron. I love him. I think he's one of the greatest players that ever played this game. But it's obvious to me, at least, that he's making a lot of decisions that's going on in this organization.
No doubt. From
a coaching standpoint to a player standpoint. So if you're going to allow him to make those decisions, all right, sit on the bench and make those decisions as well. Be the head coach. JJ Redick.
You mean player coach, right?
Player head coach.
Yeah. Well, it's happened before.
Go back to the Bill Russell days.
Absolutely. Okay? Lenny Wilkins.
Yeah. So some of the names that I've heard, you obviously have to get somebody that LeBron is comfortable with from a head coaching standpoint. The last name I heard was JJ Redick. When I started laughing, well, now they got a podcast together, so y'all comfortable, y'all buddy. So now his name is on the list. So as far as I'm concerned,
and by the way, that podcast is an X's and O's podcast, so they're talking real hardcore basketball. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right.
But as far as I'm concerned, the only person that he's going to really trust is himself. And since you're making a lot of these decisions anyway, why not put him in that seat?
I don't think he'd want the pressure of sitting in the co-seat, the dual seat. But I love it.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Because you got to have somebody.
Well, you don't have anybody to blame except yourself, right?
I was about to say, you got to have a scapegoat in that seat, as they've had the last 4 years. You got Frank Vogel, who wins a championship with them. The next year, boom, he's gone. Darvin Ham, who goes to the Western Conference Finals last year, this year, boom, he's gone. So what are you looking for? What do you need as a head coach to get this team to the next level? You got 2 of the best players in the NBA. Even at 39 years old, LeBron is still one of the best players in the NBA. Anthony Davis this year played out of his mind, in my opinion. Played more games than he's played since he's been a Laker, was as healthy as can be.
Yeah.
Played great against Denver, against one of the best players, if not the best player in the league in the Joker. Held his own. So
he did.
At the end of the day, to me, I'm looking at it, just make LeBron the coach.
All right. So I half kidded about this, but would you have any interest if they had interest in you?
No.
No?
No. I've been there, done that. And again, it's one of those jobs right now where all the pressure and all the blame is always on the coach. You got superstars and you got coaches. Coaches are getting blamed, superstars aren't. You don't have these guys taking accountability for what they've done in the playoffs or what they've done over the regular season. It all goes back to the coaches. Now, maybe some of that is legit when you talk about X's and O's and things of that nature. But for the most part, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I think for the first time in a long time, this organization, which I love to death, y'all all know I bleed purple and gold, is in flex. They have to figure out what they're looking for and stick to it. I mean, you know, obviously in coaching anymore, you know, coaching in this league anymore, you don't have teams that are showing the same type of loyalty that they used to back in the day. You know, to me, there's only really a couple of organizations that really give their coaches the chance to develop and grow with their players. And one of those is San Antonio with Pop, obviously, who's been there for years. And then you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, who's my favorite. You know.
Oh, no, I understand.
That's my team. You know, the Steelers is my organization. They've had 3 coaches in their lifetime. You know, so I look at this as partly, like you said, I'm partly joking because I don't know who that coach would be right now, who's the right fit for the Lakers. So I'm, you know, give it to LeBron.
So you heard what he had to say. Listen, first of all, I was surprised to see him say that. If I'm being 100% honest with you, I was surprised to see him say that. And the reason I was surprised to see him say that was because, first of all, it was the first time I had ever heard anyone on television say something like that, number one. But number two, what seems to be happening is the following. It seems that a lot of people are beginning to get fed up with LeBron. Just Kendrick Perkins, who's a childhood friend of LeBron James. We know him. Known him for a long time. He said that he thinks he should retire. We produced the show yesterday on our channel. I don't know if you guys saw it. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go check it out. Of Stephen A. Smith essentially saying, look, Kendrick Perkins, even he's beginning to think of whether or not he should remove LeBron from the go. This is what's happening. Stephen A. Smith is going at him. People are beginning to get tired of these antics. And some people that reacted to what Byron Scott had to say, he said, listen, he's a former coach sticking up for coaches. If we're going to be honest about it, the Lakers are a total mess from top to bottom. No one knows who runs that organization, if we're being totally frank with you guys. An organization that would have had 4 coaches in the last 7 years tells you that there's total disarray. Total disarray. They don't know what they want to do. You have Frank Vogel, who was a championship head coach. He wins a championship for you. You guys fire him a year after. Then you go get a new coach in Darvin Ham. The first year, I believe, he helps take the team to the Western Conference Finals. You lose to the eventual champions. The following season, you lose to the NBA. And not like as if you just lost to some run-of-the-mill team in the playoffs. And immediately after that, you fire him. You have players in the press conference who are essentially throwing their head coach under the bus. Players like Anthony Davis. You have LeBron James on live television showing up his coach and his entire. I had never seen a public display from an NBA player, a star player towards his coach, like what LeBron did to Darvin Ham. It was absolutely embarrassing. And at the end of all of it, after they end up losing the series, they fire the head coach. None of the players want to take any accountability. So for Byron Scott to say, listen, LeBron is the one pulling all the strings at the organization, blah, 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 then he's like, so you coach the team then. If you're doing a show with JJ Redick, Mind the Game, and you seem to know everything about basketball, you've never made a wrong play in your NBA career, which is crazy when you think about it. Listen to what he just said. I've never made the wrong play. Imagine you working with somebody at your job, and they're like, I've never made a mistake on the job, ever. Ever. Every single decision I've made has always been the right one. You would say that you're dealing with a pathological narcissist that has zero self-awareness. So if you believe that you have all of the answers, you have all of the remedies, then you coach the damn team. You coach the damn team. So that seems to be what Byron Scott seems to think. I was absolutely floored by his response. So what I want to know from you guys is the following. Number one, what do you think about what Byron Scott had to say? Do you think it was inbounds or out of bounds? And number two, most importantly, who do you think the Lakers should hire as their next head coach? Or do you think that, listen, as things currently stand, even if they go out there and get a new coach, it will be a total disaster? You heard, I don't know if you saw the full segment, they were like, why don't you take the job? He's like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I don't feel like being blamed for every single thing that happens with the team. And when you begin to have a reputation as that as an organization, you are in serious trouble because no serious candidate wants to be a part of a scapegoat-a-thon. Who wants to be annexed to this type of madness? It's a mess. The Lakers are the drama kings of the NBA. Absolute man. And that's one of the reasons I can't support them anymore. I was a Kobe. It was never like this when Kobe was playing. Now the Lakers are the TMZ team of the NBA. The TMZ team. And then you have people all over the internet, on sports media, on television, twerking it up all over the place, knocking over coffee cups, hollering and screaming, running up and down the hallway, slapping each other with honey, lying to all of their viewers every single damn day. This is where we are. This is the topic I've been really wanting to get into today. And it's based off of what's been happening over the last 5 days and what just recently occurred yesterday. As you guys know, FS1, Fox Sports 1, they have a show called Speak. And from time to time, they have various guests like LaShawn McCoy, Joy Taylor, Rick Bucher, Emmanuel Acho, and James Jones. So during one of their sit downs, they were discussing first when the news broke about the firing of the Lakers head coach, Darvin Ham. And to my surprise, James Jones, now for those of you who don't know, James Jones is a former wide receiver, NFL player. I also believe, if I'm not mistaken, he won a Super Bowl. I know he played with the Green Bay Packers, if I'm not mistaken. He played with the New York Giants. He played with the San Diego Chargers, and he won the Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl. I think it's, I don't know the year. I forgot the Roman numerals, but he won a Super Bowl, right? So he was a hell of a player. So when it came time for them to react to what had been occurring with the Lakers, he had this very powerful rant, but we didn't get a chance to go to it. So what happened yesterday? They were reacting to the comments of former Laker head coach and player Byron Scott, where he essentially said, when asked on Undisputed, what should the Lakers do in terms of filling their head coach position? He said, listen, at this particular moment in time, I think the Lakers should get LeBron James to be the coach, who's the current player. And we were like, what? LeBron James? So they were reacting to Byron Scott's comments. And when it came time for James Jones to speak, he spoke candidly. He spoke in a way that you seldom see people speak in sports media. And he spoke, he was so straightforward that Joy Taylor actually had to come back and respond like, let me just respond to this quickly because he didn't really mean what he said. So what we want to do is the following. We want to play exactly what he had to say yesterday to the news, to reacting to what Byron Scott had to say. But I also want to play the audio of what he said after Darvin Ham got fired, because I thought that was a very, very powerful monologue from him. So we want to play what he had to say for you guys now, and then we're going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to what James Jones had to say here.
Do you think the Lakers underachieved? Do you think that the Lakers should have done more than they did?
I mean, looking at the series, when you see 2-game winners, sure, they probably could have won one more game, like Joy said, but what does that mean? Yeah. I think Darvin Ham did the best he could with this roster, and I think when it was time for his big-time players to deliver, his big-time players didn't deliver. D'Lo, you going 0 for 17. My man Anthony Davis, you 4 points in the fourth quarter. Like a lot of that ain't on him. So I think he did the best he could to get this team.
He did a good job.
Resting them on all that type stuff. He got them this far.
Yeah.
But not only that, like when I look at LeBron James, he has got coaches fired that won championships with him. He's got coaches fired that took him to Western Conference Finals. He's got coaches fired that he's been first-round exit. I think Byron Scott is talking like me. He's salty. Because you done got all these coaches fired. You done won championship with a coach. You didn't like what he was doing. This coach took you to the Western Conference Finals. You don't like what he doing. You coach. You bring in the next coach. And you not dribble the ball off your foot. And you get AD some shots, design some plays, and get the clipboard and get him the bucket. You help D'Lo make some shots. So I think Byron Scott is salty because why is all this going to Darvin Ham? And you done had the most turnovers in your career. Anthony Davis ain't helping us in the fourth quarter. D'Lo ain't helping us. He our third best player. What you want me to do? Well, I did my best.
I think you coach. It goes back also to, we're not talking about the problem. LeBron may have had the most turnovers and all that, but we also think LeBron was playing at a pretty high level. Like, he was shooting very well. He was shooting the best that he shot from three-point. Like, LeBron, there wasn't a whole lot more you could ask from LeBron James at this point. James, who should they bring in?
Whoever LeBron and AD want. I don't know who that is. I wish I had LeBron and AD's number to call and be like, bro, who y'all want? Because that's basically what they are saying. It's been a lot of coaches under LeBron James that have gotten fired that have done pretty good. Vogel won a championship with LeBron. He got fired. So I think in this situation, what do you want, LeBron James? How much longer are you going to play? Because if you're going to play 2 years, we'll hire a coach that you want for 2 years and then fire him after the 2 years and figure out what we're going to do. Because that's what's happening. That's what's going on right now. I don't like none of this. This is not Darvin Ham's fault. This team was in the Western Conference Finals. This team was back in the playoffs. This is the players' fault. They did not deliver. So whoever your players want to come be this head coach, then let them hire him, because it's not going to be no head coach they bringing in here that you just going to say, I love everything he does. We play football. Marvin was your coach. I'm sure you probably love Marv. It's a lot of stuff you like. What he doing? I ride for Coach Mike, as you know. It's a lot of stuff I did not like that Coach Mike did. But at the end of the day, we are playing the game, and it was not all on Coach Mike. I used to tell everybody all the time, the plays we won the Super Bowl with was the same plays we lost in the playoffs with, and everybody like, what plays we calling? The same plays we won the Super Bowl with. We just not making the plays now.
Right.
They making the plays. At the end of the day, Darvin Ham ain't turning the ball over. He not bouncing the ball off his foot. He not getting beat by Jokic in the fourth quarter, getting dominated by him. He not scoring 4 points. What do you want him to do? So LeBron and AD, come sit down in the man office, tell us who you want, so you can agree with him on everything. Because he didn't agree with a lot of stuff Ty Lue said.
Man, what?
That's all I'm saying. So as players, hey, do what you do, but let them hire the next head coach. That'll be me. I wouldn't even be in the meetings, Joy.
So you heard what he had to say. Listen, first of all, I believe he told the truth. Let's start there. I think he told the truth. Second of all, I got to be honest with you guys. Man, I'm so sick of these people in sports media, man. I said it yesterday. I alluded to it momentarily. But I want to get back to it today. You know, when we got into this business, I got into it thinking, okay, hey, we're going to talk sports. We're going to talk basketball. It's fun. You're going to give your opinion, etc. But the more time we spend within the space, I realize it's just you have a bunch of interest groups. People out there not really saying what they think. They're withholding their true viewpoints and standpoints because this guy's cool with that guy. That guy's cool with this guy. People have all come to the decision that, hey, on TV, we're going to say this. We can't say that. I'm like, so who out here is actually keeping it real? And the reason that soundbite stood out to me, because it seemed like somebody for a moment going off script and just speaking for the average person watching. Like what he said, I believe, is what a lot of people think. But no one really has the courage to go on television and say that. That's the reason why when you heard Paul Pierce, we produced a show about this, Keeping It Funky, on the Lakers head coach situation, Rachel Nichols was taken aback. She was like, really? Wow, you're saying? You could even see her body language. She was put off by what he was saying because he was keeping it real. And there's too much of this, people faking it on TV. And it's really disappointing. This is what it's about. This is what it's about. So the higher you go up the ladder, the more you earn millions and millions of dollars. This is what you got to do. You got to go up there and just be basically capping and lying and protecting. It's like, this is what it's about. Really? To me, it's very, very disappointing and disheartening to see that these are the games that they play on television on a daily basis, and they totally water down the brains of their viewers, and they turn in and then they watch it, and then they just go around regurgitating all over the internet and comment sections, stinking up the place with these ridiculous views. Listen, he's right. He's pointing the blame at the players. The reason he's pointing the blame at the players, he's saying, because what else do you want the coach to do? The year prior, they were in the Western Conference Finals. This year, you lose in the first round to the best team, or the perceived best team in the NBA champions, in the Denver Nuggets. So what exactly were you expecting? When is it ever going to be the players' fault? When is it ever? You have Anthony Davis talking about, well, I don't really know what was going on. Sometimes we're confused. What's confusing is that in one game you score 30 points in the first half, and in the second half you don't even demand a damn basketball. You're just drifting all over the place. Is that the coach? Shaquille O'Neal, do you think Phil Jackson would have to? You don't think Shaq would be able to say, okay, give me the damn ball and let me go to work? It's a mind state. Why is it always got to be so? And this has become the reputations of the Lakers as an organization. Always finger pointing and placing blame. You hear Charles Barkley on television mention this now periodically. As the Lakers, man, they're always going to find somebody to blame. It is becoming so nauseating. So to hear a person, a former professional athlete in James Jones say, no, it's the players' fault. Them not making plays is the reason that they lost. What do you want the coach to go out there and dribble the ball too? He's like, he wasn't dribbling the ball off his feet. He wasn't having 7 turnovers in a game. He wasn't scoring 4 points in the second half. He wasn't going 0 of 7 from the 3-point line. Those are the players. So something like, where's the accountability from the stars? I made the joke about LeBron. If he was a captain of a ship and the ship was about to go down, he'd be the first person off the boat. The second in charge would be like, where's the captain? You would just see LeBron on a canoe, paddling away, and he'd be like, ha, peace. Ha, ha, peace. And you're going to be looking around like, where are the paddles? He took all of them with him. He took all of them with him. What does that mean? Meaning he's throwing everybody under the bus. Just yesterday, Rick Bucher revealed on television, I was stunned by it, we produced a show about it, that you have Clutch Sports emailing media members to vote for him for MVP. And Rick Bucher's like, but wait a minute, isn't Anthony Davis a Clutch Sports member, client? How is it fair to him? He's the best player on the team. He's like, what is going on here? But these are the games that these people play. So I thought it was so refreshing for James Jones to say, I don't know if he's going to see this video, but if you do see this video, man, we deeply appreciate, like, enough with the twerking and the hollering and the screaming and the honey slapping. For once, let's have people out there in sports media actually saying what they truly believe for a change. For God's sakes. You're getting paid all of this money and people are afraid to give their opinion. What is going on? Smaller creators actually have more courage than some of these bigger guys. And they have more to lose. Because the bigger guys, they've already made their millions. Running around, millionaires running around afraid to say what they think. This morning, I was going through my phone and a video was suggested to me on my Instagram feed. You know, I follow ESPN, NBA on ESPN, Bleacher Report, all of these guys, House of Highlights, and all of these people. So I usually get some of these clips sent to me like everybody else that follows those accounts. So as I'm following the account, a very interesting, a very interesting post came up on my page, right? And I was like, wait a minute, what's this? And I'm actually trying to pull up the post right now. I was very, very surprised when this post came up. But it was a post that featured Kendrick Perkins from ESPN and essentially says, Big Perks, Big List, the top 5 defensive players in NBA history. And I'm like, what's this? So as I start scrolling through the videos, I start to see some of the players that he names, and he mentions players like Gary Payton and others. Then I see Michael Jordan. And I'm like, oh, interesting. Kendrick Perkins, who's a LeBron guy, talking about Michael Jordan. And as he concludes the list, I notice that there's not a single out of the 5 selections that he made, LeBron to make the cut. But he's the one that runs around talking about LeBron as a good. I'm like, wait a minute. What's going on here? The Kendrick Perkins is leaving LeBron James off the list. The same Kendrick Perkins just went on television and said that LeBron James should retire. I was like, wow. Then I started reading through the comments. And of course, you could just predict that these people are all up in the comment section twerking it up all over the place. So what we want to do now is want to play exactly what Kendrick Perkins had to say on ESPN. And then we're going to come back and react to this comments. Take a listen to what Kendrick Perkins had to say here.
Kendrick Perkins. The question I have for you is, are those accolades enough for Rudy to make Big Perk's big list of big-time defenders?
Well, usually, Andrea, it goes like this. It's a group participation thing. But due to certain circumstances, I have to be selfish. Now, you probably was young or wasn't even born when this shoe was out. It was a shoe with a big Nike check on the far side of it, and you had to zip it up down the middle. And they were called the gloves. Zach, you probably know something about this. Coming in at number 5. Bam! Put it up there. GP, the glove. He had this nickname for a reason. You talk about Mr. 94 feet. He was that. You talk about one of the best hands for us getting in the passing lanes, deflection, steals, guarding the best people on the perimeter, standing at 6'3", 6'4". It was Gary Payton, Bay Area's finest, doing what he do best, and he was playing against guys like Michael Jordan, causing havoc, doing what he do. Coming in at number 4. People may say I'm being biased, but damn it, I seen it up close in person when we talk about one of the most versatile defenders at the big position. A 4. Put it up there. Bam! My guy, Kevin Garnett, KG, a.k.a. the big ticket. When you talk about a defensive specialist, underrated rim protector, a guy that was 7'1", that could switch and play the 1 through 5 defensively. You talking about a guy who's one of the best denying persons in the league? It was Kevin Garnett. Bringing the tenacity, bringing the energy, bringing that level of competitiveness, that's what he done. Coming in at number 3, bam, put it up there. I keep him on my feet, and that's Jay's on my feet. I'm talking about Michael Jordan, 9-time all-defensive first team, damn it. Defensive Player of the Year. When you talk about MJ, yes, he's known for getting buckets and winning 6 championships. But damn it, when you talk about what he did as a specialist on the defensive side of things, the ferociousness that he brought to the table, damn it, this is part of the reason why he's in the GOAT or considered the GOAT in a lot of people's eyes. Coming in at number 2, bam, put it up there. I know this may ruffle some feathers a little bit, but it should, because damn it, that's what he done. Dennis Rodman, the Worm, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. We're talking about a guy, damn it, that could go from guarding Shaq when he was in Orlando to switching out on Penny Hardaway, all in the same series and locking up. When you talk about a guy that was before his time, being able to switch out and guard perimeter players, a monster on the glass. I think he averaged like a career, 12, 13 rebounds for his career. The Worm comes in at number 2. At number 1, bam, put it up there. The greatest undrafted player of all time. Do we realize that this man averaged 5 points and right around 9 rebounds for his career? And guess what? He won 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards. Ben Wallace. Did you see him in 2004 on that Piston team? Arguably the greatest defensive team we've ever seen. Guess who he was guarding by himself? A guy by the name of Shaquille O'Neal, one of the most dominant players that has ever played the game of basketball. So again, this is not Andrea's list. This is not Zach's list. This is not Danny's list. This is Big Perk's list. This is my list of all time, and they say big time defenders. I'm going top 5 defenders to ever play the game of basketball.
So you heard what your man Kendrick Perkins had to say. You heard what he had to say. I want to read off some of the comments of some of these people in the comment section. One person says, Jordan does not belong on that list. And of course, people started responding to him. He said he stole the ball to Karl Malone in the right moment in the finals, and after that, he made the winning shot. Then somebody responded to him. He said, you do not belong in a basketball, in a basketball, conversation. Another person said, Pippen was the true defender on the Bulls. I'm like, okay. All of a sudden, Scottie Pippen is the greatest player of all time. Now that he played with Michael Jordan, ever since these honey slappers, all of a sudden decided that. And I'm going to explain to you where I got the honey from. And then somebody said Bruce Bowen over Jordan. And then another person said Pippen over Mike. And people just kept on going on and on and on. You know these guys are LeBron guys, right? You know these guys are LeBron guys. Now, before I even get into my thoughts, let me explain this honey thing, the slapping honey thing. As you guys know, about a year or so ago, LeBron posted a picture on his Instagram. And he captioned the picture with the following. If you see me in a fight with a bear, pray for the bear. Then Shannon Sharp, out of nowhere, he decided to go to the picture, go into the comment section and write, and I will pour honey all over you, goat, while you fight the bear. And we were like, wait, what? You will pour honey all over him? So that's where I got the honey thing. Now let's get to it. Listen, you can't stop these LeBron. You just can't stop them. These people cannot be stopped. They're in the comment section, twerking it up, knocking over coffee cups, spilling drinks all over the place, hollering and screaming, slapping each other with honey, running up and down the hallway, waking people up, just basically being nuisances. Why didn't you include LeBron? Why is Jordan on it? Listen, here are the facts of the matter. In my personal view, Michael Jordan is the greatest two-way player to ever play the sport. He is the greatest two-way player in the history of the sport. Now, some people will make an argument for the greatest defender of all time. Some people could say it's Hakeem Olajuwon, Bill Russell, and all of these people, right? You can make arguments for those people. Some people can talk about great offensive players like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and others. But there's no player in the history of the sport that could win 10 scoring titles while making all first defensive teams and at the same time win a defensive player of the year. Jordan was like that as a defender. Just go watch him play basketball. You don't need to take my word for it. Go watch him play ball. Jordan was a great on-the-ball defender and a great help defender. So for the people in the comment section twerking it up all over LeBron's a great defender. LeBron is a great help defender. Individual defense, he ain't nothing like Jordan. I'm just keeping it funky with you, dude. He ain't nothing like him. And LeBron ain't even a better defender than Kobe. Kobe made 9 all-first defensive teams, 12 total. Kobe is tied for defensive selections as a guard with Gary Payton, the glove. LeBron ain't a better defender than Kobe. LeBron only made 6 all-defensive teams. 6, and I think he made 5 all-first or something like that. So for these people to be in the comment section hollering and screaming and throwing honey at each other, I don't know what y'all talking about. Now, what's surprising is that Kendrick Perkins is the one saying it. And what it seems like to me is the following. It looks like these dudes are beginning to get tired of your man, LeBron James. He needs to stop. LeBron, if he doesn't stop with his antics, he's going to get people turned. You already see Stephen A. Swift and these guys getting fed up with him. Michael Wilbon. All of these people are beginning to get fed up with him. So I think he needs to stop saying all of these things. And his fans need to relax.